English settlement in India, how they have reached in India, and from the Portuguese side, who was the first person to reach in India. Today we will discuss the English traders, how they have come in India and how they have settled in India. We have known how they have settled in Bengal. Today we will discuss about this small portion. Under the orders of Azim Ushan, the then Subadar of English East India Company obtained the rights of purchase of zamindari rights of 3 villages. Azim Ushan was the Subedar of Bengal and he was working under the East India Company, and under him East India Company obtained the right to purchase zamindari rights of villages, namely Sutanuti, that is presently in North Kolkata, Kolikata, that is in Central Kolkata. The Central Kolkata is known as at that time was known as Kolikata, and the South Kolkata, namely it was called Govindapur. According to that time, East India Company purchased the zamindari rights from the zamindar Shaborno Rai Chaudhuri. It was the year 1698. That time Shaborno Rai Chaudhuri was the zamindar of these three villages. That portion was known that time was known as villages, not the city. After 2 years, 1700, the English firmly established the fortification under them, that is Fort William. Fort William was named after the King William III of England. And after the gaining the fortification rights, their settlement in Kolikata was an important step towards the acquisition of political power. Means at the same time they are acquiring the rights of villages and along with the fortification of Fort William. The French came rather late in India, yet in a very short time the extraordinary progress they are having. Francis Martin, named as the standard real founder of French East India Company, but the English control, with the control of English East India Company, the French, however, did not succeed to go beyond them, and so that in 18th century the French trade in Italy, in India prospered, but the English East India Company was stronger than them. The political and social consciousness and the condition of contemporary India, we can say that the political condition of India during early part of 16th century cannot in any way be described and encouraging. India could get recovered itself from the shock of the invasion of Timur in 1398, even after 100 years. The political power was snatched away by the Lodhis from the hopeless Sayyid rulers. The Lodhis were Afghan stock and were of Babur when was invited in rival group of them to invade India. In North India, the Rajput also did not present a picture of unity. Rajput families were always at quarrel with each other, but only exception was Mewar. Rajput families also were also not exceptional, they were also quarrelsome. Rana Sangha, the brave and chivalrous Rajput king of Mewar, aimed at the building of supremacy on the breakup of Delhi Sultanate. They also wanted to break up the Delhi Sultanate, they wanted to establish their own kingdom. In Gujarat, a strong regional kingdom emerged during the Sultanate period. Under the leadership of Mahmud Begharga, Gujarat became so powerful that it could put up a challenge to Mughals when it eventually came. Political situation in Deccan was a bit complicated due to the emergence of five principal cities, five principalities, not cities, five principal center. We can say the five principal village: Bidar, Berar, Golconda, Bijapur and Khandesh. They were the parts of South India, or we can say the Deccan. They were the strongest part of Deccan. And among them, the Bahmani kingdom. The principalities were at daggers drawn with another countries. Bahmani and Vijayanagar. They were both very strongest part of Deccan. Apart from political success, the glorious period, it was for the glorious period of Vijayanagar. In economy and culture have been also referred to a good number of foreign travelers who visited in Vijayanagar. It was in this scenario when Babur invaded India. The social condition was, while the quite impossible to reconstruct the political history, the social condition was also in Babur's time very scanty, and we have very inefficient information about this. But although we have seen the Babur's memoir Tuzuki Baburi in Turkish language, it is also helpful to know the social condition of that time. Leaving aside Sultan and Muslim aristocracy, there was a high government official constituted the privileged class in the contemporary society. They lived in the towns. Rest of the people were divided into two parts. One is Hindus, one is Muslim. The Hindu and Muslims were two parts of the society, but they were living peacefully in the society. But the Brahmin have a highest post in their society, and they have set back with the advent of Islam, now revived considerably. Next is the Kshatriyas, and Kshatriyas was the highest position after the Brahmin, and then the Zamindars. But this respect, Rajputanas was an exception. Rajputs were during that time was a ruling class. The Kshatriyas caste people engaged in trade, industry and agriculture. So they were there was the social condition was just a job of workers in that time. During Timur invasion, there was one more thing, that is the Hindu-Muslim unity was there. The many historians have said that there was seen the unity between the Hindus and the Muslim. There was also regarding the women in society, regarding the position in the women in society, it may be said the prevalence of sati and Jahar Brata was burning of widows in the funeral pyre in the prevalent society was seen, and self-immolation, that is Jahar Brata, that indicating the status of the women not high in the contemporary Indian society. Till that, we will see in the next class and discuss more topic on this chapter. Stay safe and stay healthy.